Hi there. In this video, we're going to learn a new skill. It's about how we go in our day-to-day work to build relationships that are built on trust. And it all starts with making sure that you take care of yourself. You cannot build a relationship with others if you have not built a strong relationship with yourself. You are the center. As a boss, as a leader, as a manager, you are the center of this whole equation. If you don't take care of yourself, forget about it. You cannot take care of your people. Those people that work with you, those people that depend on you for advice, you will just mess it all up. So make sure that you are centered. You are doing everything possible to take care of yourself. Be it your health, be it your well-being, financial stability, situations at home, everything. It's your complete package. If you're not happy, you will not create situations for other people in your team to be happy. And the biggest essence is of leadership, biggest essence of leadership is to not get overwhelmed. In the previous videos, we saw how you will get many times emotionally disturbing situations even at work. You will be emotionally disturbed yourself sometimes because of a project that got defunded, because of someone who is not well in your team, someone who left who was a critical resource. There'll be situations that will overwhelm you. But as a leader, your number one task for yourself is to be centered, be in the position of equanimity so that you're not overwhelmed. If you are overwhelmed, everyone else will feel that. They can see it. They can see how the leader feels. So take care of yourself. Do what you think is needed for yourself. Figure out what is your routine to be centered. For some people, it's exercise. For me, it's exercise, meditation, time with family, rest, learning, contribution. If I'm working on something that's important, then that keeps me centered. And to be centered, prioritize yourself, prioritize your time, prioritize it in your calendar. So that's the most important thing, to build that relationship of trust with yourself, doing what you would do to take care of yourself, and then expand. And the second big thing to think about building trust is think about your last time when you went to the DMV. How did you feel? I will share my experience. I feel at the DMV there is a clear show of power, control, and authority. And you feel a lack of power, control, authority as a visitor. And it just, you want to get out of that place as soon as possible. And similarly at work, if you depend on power, control, and authority, people want to get out of that spot as soon as possible. So delegating unilateral authority by involving your team members is something that you would want to think hard about when you want to build trust. You want to be fair in promotions. You want it to be fair when decisions are being made on raises for someone or someone gets fired. It shouldn't come from the place of authority. It should come from the place of fairness. It should come from the place of trust, and it should come from the place of valuing the relationship. If you don't do it, and if you depend on authority and power, at best, people will do a perfunctory work, mediocre work. Worst case, they'll even do work that is sabotaging you in terms of working against what they should be doing. So you will never get best work out of people. In this case, you never, if you don't make them feel free at work. So that brings me to the next topic. If you want to build a relationship of trust, you want to make people free at work. It starts with being free yourself. starts being centered. If you are centered, if you take care of yourself, now you're going to be free at work. You're going to bring your best self to work. And there will be situations where you will have to handle emotions of your own. So you have to be master of your own emotions, and that is the only thing you can do. You cannot do anything about the responses of other people at work, but you can respond to their emotions. You can be compassionate when situations come across as unfair. You could help fix those situations. You could ask clarifying questions to get deeper as to what the exact solution, what the exact problem is of their emotional outburst. There will be that thing. If people are not emotional at work, you're not getting the best out of them because if you just keep it professional, you have to at some point, but like you want people to be who they are. Emotions are part of people. So if you don't master your own emotions of how you handle it, and how you are free being yourself, and also the responses of people around you, then they'll not be free at work. They'll not feel comfortable. When you're not comfortable, you'll not give your best output. Also, being free at work requires you as a leader to be respectful of people's boundaries and physical spaces. Some people really don't like it when you come much closer in terms of solving issue. If you got to be respectful of people's space. They want certain flexibility. Some people are okay with a touch of appreciation, with how you do a professional handshake, but a lot of people that doesn't work. So be mindful. Different cultures have different um, thought process here. So be mindful about people's physical space and boundaries, and then be inclusive. I have made a lot of mistakes where when I say to my team in my team meeting, "You guys did a great job." Well, I just excluded all the girls. That's not the right way. We'd have to be inclusive in our words. A lot of people take things literally. So instead of you guys, you should say you all or something like that. Be very inclusive in your words when you use them. Only then you will see people free and included at work, and you will build those relationships. Exercise of living your values is another best way. Like if you really value hard work, then display it, do it, and then people will see it instead of talking about your values. It's still important to start a conversation to deeply understand someone, so that they feel that there is someone who they know at work. But living your values is more important than discussing values, because that's a better proxy of who you actually are. And socializing, you need to be really careful, especially when it comes to socializing with alcohol. Be careful about this. Things can go really wrong. And the best way I have learned reading this book, and also my own experience, is to socialize during work. As in, when you're working with someone, you get to know that person much more than maybe just outside of work. I'm not saying outside of work is not a good idea, it is. But be mindful when you do that. Um, So that is very important, especially when you have to build trust. To build that trust first with yourself, taking care of defining what you need for a full day to be centered, taking care of yourself at work, outside of work, coming back at home, giving your full self at both the places, keeping in mind the the trust is eroded by display of power, control, and authority. Keep that in mind. Include everyone in the decision making process, empower people, delegate responsibility, and make them feel free at work. Make them feel to express who they are. And when they express, be ready with your skill sets to actually handle those expressions and take the best out of them and channel it in the right way. Thank you. New skill learned.